Yeah, Maine by and large is really considered a tertiary market. And so we don't have a lot of primary drivers of industry here. We have a lot of businesses that exist elsewhere, or the heads of their business are elsewhere. And then they've got, satellite locations here. State government and the hospital system really are two of the primary employers in Central Maine, but Maine as a whole really is based a lot on a service economy, and tourism is a big component of that, which sometimes when there's a slowdown in the economy, we see a little bit of a slowdown here, but largely Maine is pretty steady. We don't see a lot of these cyclical ups that exist because you have big employers coming in, hiring a bunch of people, and then something doesn't work out and they have to lay them off. We don't see as much of that around here, or really much at all. And by the same token, because we have our stable businesses that are more of a baseline, we don't see a drop off as much either. Things that are tied to government services and also needing medical services, it's not like when there's a downturn in the economy that the need for those things goes away. So there's a little bit more stability here. However, we have the second oldest population in the United States. So it's hard to find people and employees to fill positions. So a lot of times employers aren't coming here, meaning Maine people oftentimes have to find a way to either work for themselves or get creative to earn some additional income, or they're lucky enough to get placed with some of these employers that we do have here. What we're seeing now, though, as an emerging trend among the digital nomads, as I like to call them, people who can work from their laptops in the basement, is a desire to move to areas that support a quality of life. So oftentimes I'll ask people, why did you move to Maine? And you think that it's because of the job, or because I like to shovel snow. You never hear that. But recently I was talking with a young woman, and she was like, because they had a really cool yarn store in the downtown of Waterville. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. And here you have a young professional woman who works from home and loves to knit, and had access to a great yarn store that she couldn't find anywhere else. And it just struck a chord with her and made her feel kind of connected to the community. So we live in a world now where, if my grandmother, who loved to knit, wanted to move to a different community so that she could live in that community, experience what it had to offer, including the awesome, knitting store, she couldn't do that like in 1950, but now she would have been able to do that. And that brings about a different sense of requirements of what people want and what they're looking for in a place. And that's when Maine starts to stand out. You see these wildfires going on out west and things are burning up. Maine, you can just stick a straw in the ground pretty much and have water. A lot of folks don't know that out west, that's like something that people pay a lot of money for. And so the fact that we can just go in our backyard and drill a well and start drinking the water out of it, that's something that a lot of our friends and neighbors in this country can't do. So things like that over time, I think, are going to have more people wanting to come to this state because it's a nice place, it's safe, the quality of life is good here, and oh, by the way, we've got water. Sounds crazy to think about, but in time, something that is becoming much, much more important. So there's a lot of things going on in Maine that when you looked at historic metrics for why to move to an area, you might not feel like that is the reason to be there. But now what people are wanting out of a home has changed. And it's first leading with quality of life and access to experiences versus like where geographically is that property.